From now on, I will be describing the sections and the practice material for both the exams together. As I said before, that the content for both exams is very similar. So to start with, we will first talk about the reading section. In the reading section, you will get passages about either conversations or academic tests or from some papers, but these will be simple passages and you will have to answer a few questions based on these passages. The next is the listening section. In this section, you will get to hear some discussions, conversations, or a few lectures, and you will be answering questions based on all of this. Next, we will talk about the writing section. In the writing section, you will have to write an essay on any given topic, and these topics are pretty simple because they are about your day-to-day things or your festivals, and these are really very simple topics and you should be able to write about them. I would like to tell you about the structure a bit, which I think would be helpful for you. So it is beneficial to start with an introduction to give your point of view and to explain or give an example about the topic and to give a conclusion. If possible, do include good quotes because that does help. And you need to have a good vocabulary for the writing section, but make sure that with vocabulary, you just don't add a lot of words in that, so it gives you a feeling that this essay looks a bit fake or a bit made up. So don't give that feeling. Use vocabulary but in the right sense and make sure that it mixes well and adjusts with whole of your essay. The other important part is that when you're practicing the topics, please practice them and think about them, that what you can write, what can you include, but make sure that you do not learn them by heart and you do not go in the paper and write down all that you have learned. So the speaking section could vary from test to test. I mean by that is that usually for IELTS test, you have your speaking test a day after, a day before, or usually with a gap between your normal test, which contains your reading, writing, and listening section. And for your IELTS, you will actually have a conversation or a discussion with a person sitting in front of you who will also be recording what you say. Whereas for TOEFL internet-based test, you will go to the test center, and also this could be either on the same day, a few hours before, or on the previous day, or on the next day. But over there, you will put on your headphones and you will be talking into a mic about the topic that they have asked you to, or you will be pretending to have a conversation. So it can depend on which test you are giving. And also the other important point to remember is that the vocabulary that you will be learning or you will be gaining will be of importance in your listening as well as in your speaking section, because in your listening section you will be answering a few questions based on the vocabulary, and in the speaking section you will be using your vocabulary. So it is important to know actually what which word means what, because then you can give a few answers like for example, which kind of fruits do you like doesn't exactly mean that I like orange, apple, or whatever will your answer be, because it could depend on citrus fruit. In the speaking and listening section, you will be exposed to various accents, maybe an American accent, a British accent, an Australian accent, and it is important that you have enough practice with these accents. The simple method to practice is to go on YouTube and listen and watch videos, or to practice from the CDs that are given to you. Now coming to practicing your English skills for IELTS and TOEFL, those people who are a bit comfortable with English language, you can just practice for an hour every day till your exam test date, but that doesn't mean that you start a week before your exam test date. We are just saying that you could start maybe a month or a month and a half before, and 1 hour practice will help you get the scores that you need, provided that is real hardworking practice. I'm suggesting a few books that are helpful for the exams. For TOEFL exam, practice books from Barron's or Princeton Review or ETS, that is the practice book from Exam Testing Services themselves, are really good for practice. And for IELTS, books such from Macmillan or Cambridge books for IELTS are really good for your practice. Apart from books, you can also find material online, and you can find a few practice tests online. There are a few practice tests for on the ETS website, as well as one or two practice tests on the British Council website. And as I said earlier, that for IELTS, you will be getting a book from British Council to practice as well. Also, I will be suggesting a few links below which will tell you about a few YouTube videos or books or online tests that I think are really helpful. And all the best for your exam, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye till then.